A joke is simply a pattern interrupt. That's it. So you're going a certain mode, and suddenly the pattern is interrupted, and this change in the pattern is what creates energy in the other person and makes them laugh. Allow me to give you an example. A few years back, there was a period when I was going from Tampa to West Palm Beach, and I was taking the train. On this particular day, the train was late. It wasn't just 20 minutes late, 30 minutes late, 45 minutes late. It was over 2 hours delayed. Now here was the issue. No one was giving us updates. So every second that passed by where the passengers weren't being given an update, we were getting angrier and angrier and angrier. Eventually, a guy with a train uniform, you could tell that he works in this train station, came by, and he was trying to break the ice. He's like, why does everyone here look so sad for? And that's when the passengers started to rip into him. They were like, what do you mean why we're so upset for? This place is a junk. Because think about it. We've been here for so long, and not a single one of you guys are giving us an update on when the train is going to be here. Shame on you. This poor guy, he's over here trying to tell a joke or be lighthearted, and he's over here getting yelled at. So this was the pattern that was set, a very hostile environment. And suddenly, this worker breaks the pattern. He's like, why did the bird go to the hospital? The passengers are pissed. They were like, what? What's this guy saying? Once again, this guy was like, why did the bird go to the hospital? Since no one was saying anything, I was like, why? That's when this guy was like, to get a treatment. And once that happened, this entire passengers that were pissed off before bust out laughing, me included. Now, I'm not gonna lie, that joke was pretty corny, but if you think about it, he executed the joke to perfection. There was a certain pattern of aggression and not feeling good, very dark emotions. And suddenly, he inserted himself in the situation and made it a light-hearted moment. Throughout your life, you'll see plenty of moments like that. And if you have no clue where to look at embarrassing moments in your life. Look at dark moments in your life and try to extract one lesson from it. As you're talking about this dark story, I keep making it darker and darker and darker, and you're creating this very dark theme for the person that's listening to you. And then suddenly, put in the lesson, the insight, and you will change up the pattern. And by changing up the pattern, this other person is going to feel shocked. Whether they're consciously aware of it or not, their nervous system is going to feel a flux of energy, and that is what's going to make them laugh. Now you may be thinking, okay, I get it. I mean, you're setting a certain pattern, then you interrupt it. I get it. That's what a joke is. But what if they don't laugh? That's something that we're going to be addressing in the next video. So what if they don't laugh? This is something that all comedians go through. This person, from the story that I was telling in the prior video, the worker, he tried telling that joke of the treatment to his wife, and she didn't laugh. But him inserting that same exact joke with the passengers, they laughed. This goes on to show that humor is highly subjective. And this is something a lot of comedians know. Normally what we're seeing is their big comedy special. But what we don't see is that a lot of comedians, they're going to different comedy clubs. They're practicing their material. They're seeing what hits and what doesn't hit. And over time, they're building insights. And a lot of these comedians, they'll say that, look, this joke that I put in my comedy special, for a lot of these clubs that I was operating in, they weren't laughing. They were actually booing me when I said that joke that got laughs in the comedy special. What does that mean for you? What that means is that you need to put yourself out there. You need to try to be funny. And a lot of the times in the initial stages, others will not find you funny. And you still need to maintain that enthusiasm and keep pushing forward anyways. Now, here's another humorous thing about all of this. A lot of the times, you're not going to try to be funny, but still, you're going to get a chuckle out of someone. I recall one of the times that it happened to me was when I was sending out a email on my daily email list. And one day, a girl responds back to me, and she's like, "Hey, your last email was so freaking funny. I was laughing nonstop." And I thought about it. The last email I sent was a pretty serious email. What do you mean you found it funny? Are you saying I'm some type of joke? And I responded back to her. I was like, "What did you find funny about that?" And she responds back with this big paragraph. And apparently, in that email, I used this particular word called Toastmasters, and it activated a memory in her mind of toast. And she was sharing a story about how her grandpa used to always burn the toast whenever they were going camping. And she was sharing that story, how funny it was. And she tied in that humor of the burnt toast to my email, which made her think that I was funny. I wasn't trying to make her laugh, yet she found me to be humorous. So at times, you're going to try to make people laugh and they are not going to laugh. Other times, you're not going to try to make people laugh, yet they're still going to laugh. And if you ask me, that's pretty funny.